going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. This is North Carolina living, and we're living it up. I love the climate here in North Carolina. It's so beautiful and mild. I am from Oklahoma, so I grew up in a very hot and then cold. I always say there's only two seasons in Oklahoma, and that was too dang hot and too dang cold. But here in North Carolina, in the mountains, the Blue Ridge Mountains here, it's always a nice, beautiful day, and I'm out here enjoying it. We had some rain earlier for most of the part of the day, and now the sun's back out a little bit, and I'm out here in the garden. I'm excited to share with you guys kind of an interesting, different section of my garden, and I'll explain it here in a little bit. Let's get going. All right, so here we go. Let me explain a little bit about this section. I recently cleaned this out. I had a bunch of ivy and privet that had kind of taken over this section of my yard that I had needed to get taken care of since we moved into this place. And so it's kind of just recently been fought back. I'm not finished cleaning it up by any means, but I've been kind of thinking about all different sorts of ideas of how I could utilize kind of this new section of my garden. And recently, over the last couple of weeks, we've had some cold nights, some potential frosts. And so I've been playing the maple shuffle, and I've been taking in the potted maples into the garage and bringing them back out and so forth. And I think we finally got past that threat of frost, at least for the next 10 days. And so I needed to get home today and get all these potted maples out of the garage, get them outside, get them some sun. And I think we're gonna have rain tomorrow as well. So I needed to get them out here and out of that garage. You know, when you put your maples in the garage for a couple of nights, you don't wanna leave them in there too long. You want to get them back out, let them get some sun and some airflow, and definitely get them watered. So once I had them all kind of placed outside, I thought about just putting them all over here for now because I'm going to have to mow the backyard again soon. And it gave me this video idea. I haven't been doing any of my potted maples, and so it's the perfect time to do it. I've got them all set out over here. These aren't all of my potted maples, but the majority of them are here. I have a few sitting on the front porch. And so I wanted to kind of take a second to jump in and show you guys a little bit something different. I do have some in the ground that we'll go over here that's just already planted, and then we'll talk about the potted maples around them. So let's get going. To kick this thing off, I think we should start right here. I've got this Acer palmatum Yama momiji in this beautiful blue pot. One of the things I love about growing maples in pots is that you can contrast in color with the maple to kind of really create a dynamic look to it. So let's jump up here. Now this is a very interesting Japanese maple to me because the claim to fame with this is that this is a very traditional native Matsumure style leaf to Japan. This is what you would see growing native in Japan in the wild, but this is a cultivar selection of it. Now, I believe that Yama momiji used to be Yama momiji kitu, which meant that it had some variegation on it. Now, this cultivar through the years has lost that variegation, and you don't see variegation on this cultivar very often. You may only get a few leaves. I haven't had a chance to really look this one over, so we might discover something here. But for so far, I have not had any consistent variegation on this particular. So we leave off the Kitu, and it's just Yama momiji. So let me take you in a little closer here to show you a close-up of these really, really awesome leaves. I say it in a lot of my videos, but this is my favorite style of Japanese maple leaf, and it's what they call Matsumure, meaning that the lobes are deeply divided. So I absolutely love this particular cultivar. I think it's got a lot going for it. Beautiful, bright, lush green. It's a strong grower too. This thing gets out there pretty quickly. I've had this in the pot now for 2 years, and it is growing very quickly and seeming to love being in a pot, and I think it just looks great. The structure on it is really nice, contrasting very well with the blue pot. And there it is, Acer palmatum Yama Momiji. All right, next up, this is a really cool cultivar. I know I say that a lot, but I'm gonna keep saying it because if it's in my collection, typically it's a really cool Japanese maple. And so I like to add a lot of different things. And this is Acer palmatum Dragon Tears. Now, what is interesting about Dragon Tears is that it is a red, semi-upright with a palmatum leaf. The leaves on it are very interesting when they come out in spring. You get a little bit of curling on that, and interesting. Sometimes they almost have what appears to be like a little bit of variegation. It's not. It's just like some multicoloring on that red. You got a little bit of crinkling in the leaf as well. But Dragon Tears will give you kind of a cascading, semi-weeping habit. It usually has a nice, strong central leader, and then the branches will reach out very far, and then they start to droop and hang, giving you kind of this weeping effect. Now, this one here I've got in a beautiful green pot, and it's got an incredible structure. One of the reasons why I picked this particular Dragon Tears was for its structure, and it is doing very well, and one that I like a lot. Now, I've grown this before in Oklahoma. I had a very large one there that had just the most perfect shape that Dragon Tears would be known for, and give you the perfect example of that. But I'm starting with another one here, and it's already doing very well and looking amazing in this pot. So there it is, Acer palmatum Dragon Tears. All right, so moving right along here, check this thing out. So this is a really cool maple, I think. It's kind of underappreciated and underused in the collection of Japanese maples. I think it's a standout cultivar, and just has a beautiful Anomenum style leaf. Really nice, big, full leaf. Very similar to what you could expect from like Osaka-zuki. But I think it has a nice, like lighter chartreuse green than Osaka-zuki does, especially when it's leafing out. Where Osaka-zuki sometimes can be like a really like fuchsia pink color when it's first leafing out, then going to a green. But one of the cool things about this cultivar, I forgot to say the name, this is Acer palmatum Igyoi. Now, this is supposed to be like the trifecta member of that Osaka-zuki group. So Osaka-zuki has this beautiful leaf similar to this, going a amazing kind of pink red in the fall, and then you have Hogyoku, which has a very similar leaf but going to an orange in the fall. But Igyoi is kind of that third piece to that. It goes a beautiful yellow in the fall, and this thing is a absolutely beautiful cultivar in my opinion. I can't speak any more highly of it. Let's dive in and show you a little bit what these leaves look like. Really, really nice, good size leaf. Then you've got some nice pink highlights on some of that newer growth, and it has a very kind of soft look about it. It has some nice fine hairs on that, and that new growth really, really nice, kind of just blushing over top of that really light green color. And just the way the leaves, the lobes on the leaves are, it gives it a really nice, like soft look to it, in my opinion. Just has a really good structure. This particular one, I really picked out because I love the structure. It has a very like full-size tree look, but in a small size, and looks really nice in this kind of gold and gray pot. Really contrasts very well with those colors. But man, I'm telling you, if you're into gardening, if you're into Japanese maples, if you're a collector, or if you're just somebody who says, I want a Japanese maple in my garden, pick this cultivar. I tell you, you will not be disappointed, and you will enjoy it all through the season. And then also, even in my opinion, it seems to carry a very unique structure too, which I like about it. And so there it is, Acer palmatum Igyoi. All right, this is one from this group that is not in a pot, but I got to get this on camera while it's still looking in its most primo color as I can possibly get it, because I want to catalog this, because I think this cultivar has some of the most electrifying colors that I've ever seen. Everybody that I show this to, the pictures I've posted, everybody is like, oh my gosh, what in the world? Where can I find this? And unfortunately, this is not readily available. I was able to acquire a couple of these through Mr. Maple, but they're not in full production yet. Hopefully in the future they will have more of these and become readily available, because I think everybody's going to be clamoring to get their hands on this. This is Acer palmatum Naniwa Beni. Now, I have one in the front yard. I'm going to disclose this. I have one in the front yard in shade. Right now, I'm getting some really nice yellow with some slight pink edges to it. And this one is in full sun. Full sun here in Zone 7B in Western North Carolina. But I'm telling you guys, just let's dive in. Let me show you what is going on here. This is so intense, so beautiful. Now, I wish that my camera would always capture just that true color, but the eye and what the camera sees is sometimes a little bit off. But in real sight here, I'm just, I'm seeing some beautiful copper red tones with the bright yellow veining. I hope that's coming across here. It can be very dark also, just that red kind of copper rust color can be very dark. So it makes the veining inside that leaf just stand out even more. It's so crazy. I love the spring color on this. I think it's one of the most intense and vibrant spring colors on any of the cultivars that I have in my collection. And I just, I get excited every time I see it. And especially what's cool about it, and this goes with most Japanese maples and cultivars, is that you can play with the coloring quite a bit depending on if you're planting this in a shady location or in a sunny spot. Now, it's always a delicate balance with Japanese maples, because I would say that all Japanese maples appreciate some afternoon shade, but you can kind of push those limits depending on what zone you're in and your climate. And I like to kind of push the limits on some of these cultivars, because I think that typically in most situations, there are exceptions to this, I will say, but in a lot of situations, you can get the best, most vibrant color display with more sun. Sometimes in the shade, now if you're talking about a variegated or reticulated type, you do want to protect those and they'll hold the color longer. But outside of those groups, I think when you put these in sun, as much sun as you can, you want to kind of test that limit without burning them, but they will give you an amazing display of color. And this Acer palmatum Naniwa Beni is an exciting tree. I'm always telling Matt and Tim at Mr. Maple, you gotta get this thing in production. It is absolutely amazing. I mean, I think it has to be in my top 10. I mean, how could I not list this in my top 10 of Japanese maples? It'd be hard to leave that out of that list. I can't think of too many other cultivars that gets me this excited about it. And I hope you guys are enjoying just me kind of geeking out on all these different cultivars and sharing it with you guys. So here it is. We will jump to the next one here, but signing off with Acer palmatum Naniwa Benny. All right, so I hope you guys enjoyed a quick look at some of the potted Japanese maples that I have. I'm not done with them yet, so stay tuned for another release where a continuation of some of the cultivars here. My goal is to, on this channel, to kind of catalog and showcase all of the Japanese maple cultivars that I have in my collection currently. And there's about 150 roughly of cultivars to cover, and so it could take quite some time. So I'm trying to break these up into smaller segments so you guys can enjoy it and not get too overwhelmed with information and me just rambling on and on about Japanese maples. But I hope you guys enjoyed today. I think it was really cool to kind of show something different with the potted maples. And all the comments that keep coming through, it's really cool, man. I really appreciate it. It means a lot to me because I know that there's so many people out there who are interested in Japanese maples, and there's a lot of information out there, but I'm hoping maybe I can bring something different, something unique, and just my joy and passion for Japanese maples. I hope that comes through and is infectious to you guys, because I think a lot of these cultivars may not be as well known, and a lot of gardens, I think, deserve to have one of these showcased in that garden. So here at the Rural Gardens, we try to make sure that we find the coolest, most amazing Japanese maples ever and show them with you guys. All right, talk to you later. Take care.